Hello and welcome to the Young Turks Dream Decade. I'm Shereen. Bhan. On the show this week, we will travel the length and breadth of the country to bring you India's brightest entrepreneurial sparks. On our segment, YT Goes Global, we bring you global entrepreneurs who reveal the secrets behind their success and catch everything that's hot and happening in the entrepreneurial world on the YT Buzz. But here's a quick glimpse of what we have lined up for you on the show today. Well, this week we bring you yet another venture from the flourishing e-commerce economy in India, and this one is even called YeBhi.com. Launched in 2007 as an online footwear retail business, Manmohan Agarwal decided to go all out in 2010 to create an all-available e-retail store. The website today manages 3 orders every minute, and this year YeBhi did a turnover of 100 crore rupees and has also managed investments worth 40 crore rupees from Catamaran Ventures. We sent Shruti out to find out more about YeBhi.com. Take a look.
India now has over 100 million online users and is Asia's second largest internet market. And betting big on this opportunity is Manmohan Agarwal. Founded in 2009, his e-tail venture YeBhi.com started off as an e-commerce portal called BigShoeBazaar.net. From being a niche player selling only footwear, today YeBhi.com e-tails everything from apparel to electronic items, jewelry and even perfumes, making it a one-stop shopping destination for its consumers. Listing over 300 brands on its portal, the venture today manages over 5,000 transactions every day, crossing revenues of over 100 crore rupees this year.
Your entrepreneurial journey has been quite an unusual one. You first started by building India's first private gold mining venture, and then you ventured into the shoe business with Big Shoe Bazaar. And now I believe ultimately you've found your pot of gold with YeBhi. Tell us how everything happened.
In 2009 when we started, there wasn't much conviction around the market that e-commerce is really going to work in India.
Yeah.
And essentially it was driven because there were some past attempts in last 5-6 years which weren't very successful. But I had a stint in physical retail also before we started, and that,
yeah, with Vishal
Retail, and that gave me a lot of conviction that the demography of the country looks very, very conducive to do a good, solid e-commerce business. So we said, let's do it. We also looked at a very unique e-commerce opportunity, which is the online wholesale cash and carry. So we have that online wholesale cash and carry store, which is extremely unique in the world. We haven't seen a business model around it anywhere else in the world, and that's unique because India also offers a very unique opportunity with such a disorganized retail, and we have been talking about it for years. We've now also got a consensus across the industry that this piece of retail in the country is going to stay for long term. Therefore, we thought that there's a great opportunity to go and contribute a little bit in how do we organize their supply chain, how do we make the products available to those small-time tier 2, tier 3 retailers, and how can they work on just-in-time inventory.
But what was the rationale behind taking the general e-commerce route from being a niche player with Big Shoe Bazaar?
So that was always there from day one. The idea was to go and build a online departmental store. It was also a conscious decision that not to go out and start with everything in one go. We were learning. Industry was new. There were a lot of challenges in getting that trust going with the customer, that they can really get comfortable buying online. So selection of footwear category was also by choice, and it was only in late 2010 that we said yes, we have learnt a thing or two about e-commerce and we can experiment with more categories.
So take us through your business operations. How do you source your products, and what is the scale of your back-end operations?
The first warehouse was just a 400 square feet small operation, and now we have about 125,000 square feet of 2 distribution centers. I think that this is the India's first robust e-commerce fulfillment center, which is inspired by some very large retailers, the way they work in e-retailers, which we've seen in Europe and US. And it's scaling up. I think in next 12 months we will take this to about 500,000 square feet, and about 2 years time, 1.5 to 2 years, it will go to about 1 million square feet fulfillment center. The key differentiation, the way we work is we held inventory.
Yeah.
We went to the brand and said, look, we are going to buy upfront and we are going to work like any other retailer would work for you. So like a physical retailer, like your Shoppers Stop or Lifestyle, anybody would work, we work in a similar fashion. We do season forecasting, we do prepaid pre-orders for the season with the brands.
You know, inventory management is key to your business, and you've pretty much nailed that. But clearly you've got competition in the e-commerce space, be it apparel, jewelry, electronic items, gifting, or even entertainment. So, you know, how do you plan to take on all of this, and what is the kind of potential that you see for the business?
Competition is growing, it's good news.
Okay.
Because we are in such an early stage of business. If I look at e-commerce as an industry as a whole, I think very soon all of us will start seeing a challenge at how do we really grow this business massively? How do we get in more online shoppers? So there is a scenario A where there is one guy saying, look, I am an only exclusive online store, therefore you come and buy, and there are maybe 50 people or 100 people saying. So if there is the 100 people saying that there is an online industry which exists, we'll be able to grow the industry much faster. I feel there's a humongous opportunity.
And this has earned Manmohan investments worth 50 crore rupees across 2 rounds of funding from Nexus Partners and Catamaran Ventures. With over 2 lakh people visiting the site every day, yebhi.com today has over 1 million registered users. But what is it that differentiates yebhi.com from other e-commerce portals?
Variety is the key. Variety is very, very important, which goes on to experience. Then the pricing should be competitive. It should be a fair price. Then how fast you reach out to the customer is also very important, because shopping is essentially driven by either need or impulse, and either of the two you see, time to market is very, very important.
So what is your delivery time?
We ship out everything in flat 2 hours.
Okay.
So from click to dispatch is about 2 hours. We rely on multiple delivery networks, service providers, depending on which city somebody is ordering. The delivery time varies between 24 hours to sometimes 72 and 96. It's really a remote place.
Today, investors are chasing entrepreneurs in the e-commerce space. You yourself have raised about 50 crore rupees across 2 rounds of funding. But with huge investments come great expectations. So what is your take on that?
There are a lot of obligations. Raising money is one difficult part, but the more difficult part is delivering on that capital. It gives a lot of tremendous pressure on the entrepreneur. And but it's an enjoyable pressure, and we're enjoying every bit of it.
So what is the right time to go for funding according to you?
I think everybody should keep in mind certain milestones, that if you're raising X money, then this X money should take you to a Y point, and then you have to take stock of the situation, that where do you go from here, and what is required in terms of resources.
With an aim to touch revenues of 150 crore rupees by next year, Manmohan is also looking at increasing his retail partners from 7,000 to 10,000 by 2012. With almost 50% of the business generated from Tier 2 and Tier 3 towns, Manmohan is now looking to woo his customers not just through discounts and coupons, but is working on strategies to strengthen his retail reach.
Over a period of time, it's going to be a completely walk-in store, 24 by 7 open store. Any customer walks in, gets a variety, gets a trusted store to deal with, gets its products on time, and most importantly gets his refunds of time. There's an easy return policy. If you don't like it, just return it. It's only a phone call away. Somebody will come to your door, pick it up, and get the refund back.
So where does Yebhi go from here? What are the future plans? Are you looking at adding more new product categories, or are you also looking to go global?
I don't think we have any plans and ambitions to go global as of now. India is a great opportunity. It's a very large opportunity, untapped market, and the biggest challenge for us is not to go out and expand the market. Biggest challenge for us is to go and deliver to that market. On categories, I think that will be a continuous process. As the store goes, we'll keep adding categories. We'll see many more categories as we move forward.
You know, you talked about scaling up operations, and that is what you would want to put more focus on. So how do you plan to strengthen your distribution network?
So as of now, we are following a single fulfillment center model. So we're going to be scaling up that. We have 125,000 now. We'll take it to 500,000 now. So that's one piece on the back end. Then it's always human resource, also very important. We are adding people. We are adding team. Finding good talent on e-commerce is a challenge, because we don't have a pedigree and a history in the country.
All right, so yebhi.com is your third entrepreneurial venture. What is the biggest learning that you've had so far?
People talk about passion, which is I think it was unsaid. But also important is consistency. You'll see highs and lows, but one has to just be consistent in what's doing. And consistency will come only when you have a very firm conviction.
All right, Manmohan, thank you, and we really hope that YEH bhi remains consistent in its delivery and everything else. Thank you so much for joining us on Young
Pleasure
Turks.
talking to you.
Thank you.
Well, here's wishing the team at YEH the very best of luck. Time for us to take a break, but when we return, we bring you an international entrepreneur from Silicon Valley, the story of Dhingana.com.